Thanks for checking out this movie review video. This is for the 2025 release Predator Killer of Killers, and I'm here to tell you that the hype is real on this one, you guys. This is a pretty good movie. Well, better than pretty good, but I'm going to get into that in this no spoiler review, but I'm going to do something that I don't typically do in the beginning, and that is ask for your support. Subscribe to my channel. Hit the thumbs up on this to help with that YouTube algorithm. Those are the things you can do to help me out. You can hit the notification bell button so you know when I'm putting up new videos. And the other thing is, if you feel so inclined to pitch in monetarily for what I'm doing here, I do have memberships with the channel. That's linked in the description. So you can see I have 3 different tiers, including the top tier, getting exclusive videos that no one else is seeing. But anyway, that's enough about that. Do consider helping me out in whatever way you can. Free is the best, so thumbs up and subscribe. But anyway, I talked too much about that. This one's directed by Dan Trachtenberg, who did 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I've heard is quite good, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Did an episode of Black Mirror and Prey, which a lot of people really loved Prey. I thought it was good. But I'll be honest, I think Predator Killer of Killers is better than Prey, even though I did like Prey and thought it was pretty solid. This is also directed by Joshua Wassung. Written by Trachtenberg and Micho Robert Rutare, who wrote Dragon Quest, Meteor Apocalypse, Mega Shark versus Crocosaurus, and some episodes of the show Z Nation, which I've heard is actually a pretty good show. This is an animated movie. This is what people really need to know about this going into it, because I know there's some people out there who are just like, I just don't like animated things. I can't get into it. I am here to tell you, try to get over this, especially if you like Predator movies. Try to get over the animation thing. And I will tell you that I'm not a fan of the style of animation they decided to use for this necessarily, because it's one of those styles where it's not smooth motion of the characters and the things and the environments. It's like a little bit choppy, so it feels like you're playing a video game that is constantly lagging. I don't like that type of animation, but the story is legit in this film. There's a lot of really cool stuff about it, which I'm going to talk about in a no spoiler way, obviously. And I got used to the animation over time. I really did. And it's kind of the same thing with subtitles. A lot of people are like, I hate doing subtitles. You kind of settle into it at some point after you've been watching it for a certain amount of the runtime. So that ended up happening with the animation. Check it out. So this is available on Hulu at the moment. So I already have Hulu, so I saw it for free basically, which is great. Check it out. So quick synopsis. I don't want to tell you too much about this because I don't want to give too much away, but it's in the Predator franchise. Now, apparently the filmmaker had, I believe I read somewhere, had said that he wanted to go with an animated style for the film because it opened things up a little bit more. It made it more possible to go much larger and do a lot more with the film with a smaller budget. And I think the result shows that that was a very smart move, in my opinion. And I'm going to be honest, I hope they do another one also also animated, so they can go as big as they did. So yeah, but it's basically kind of a little anthology-ish, where it's following some people on Earth during different time periods who end up encountering, different predator creatures who end up fighting to the death, basically. So that's the whole Killer of Killers thing. That's kind of where it's coming from. But the time periods are, there's Scandinavia during the time of the Vikings. There's feudal Japan, which is focusing on samurai at that point. And then there's an American perspective during World War II. So it's those 3 types of people taking on predators. And it's very riveting, actually. And there's legitimately decent stories for these individuals that it's following for each of those stories. And then the overall, they do kind of something else with it, which I really did enjoy. So, yeah, that's my little synopsis for it. It's not done in my favorite style of animation. It's the one that looks intentionally laggy. Not a huge fan, but I settled into it. Just gotta go with it. There's some pretty good gore that's coupled with really great action sequences. One of the great things about this film is these action sequences are phenomenal. And this points to the smart aspect of doing animation over live action. You couldn't really do these action sequences and as much as they did for their lower budget. I mean, I don't know what the budget is, but I just know that had this film been live action, they would not have been doing the same action sequences and they would not have looked as good and as seamless, to be honest. And it's awesome. Like, these action sequences are pretty awe-inspiring. A bunch of the stuff doesn't look realistic, but when you're watching an animated movie, it doesn't necessarily need to feel like it's real life, because it's animated, it doesn't feel real life. It feels like fantastical, you know? So that's one of the other strengths for it. But the action sequences are outstanding. I didn't know what it was going to be like, but I was wowed from the first action sequence, and the gore is really, really good in it when they decide to go really hard. Like, I'm just telling you, like, some chopping that ends up going on and the blood spray and just, yeah. I don't want to, ruin too much on that front, but definitely if you're into that type of stuff, you're going to enjoy this. It is quite well directed. Now, I was trying to figure out, like, how do I talk about the way it looks? Like, it's not really cinematography because it's not a camera doing it, because it's all animated, but it is direction and picking what the shots are, basically. And it's really good. Like, it's really engaging movements, engaging kind of framing of different scenes. It looks really cool. And it's another situation where it makes you wonder, like, if it was live action, would it have looked as good? And I kind of feel like probably no, because it would have been a lot harder to do that. But yeah, the dialogue and voice acting are both very well done. So the script is very strong with this film, in my opinion. Although there's not a ton of dialogue to it, it is primarily focused on the action sequences for the most part. But I feel like that helps the movie move a lot as well. And I will say that this is phenomenal pacing. I have not seen a movie paced this well in quite a while. Well, I'll say a horror movie. I haven't seen a horror movie that's come out in the past many years that's been paced this well before. I think the last one I can think of that was this well paced was Wolf of Snow Hollow by Jim Cummings, because he writes really tight scripts. This one, it just moves. And like I said, the action is a big part of the film, and that really helps just keep things moving and engaging. It's very riveting. It is one of those films where, yeah, there's story to it, but you can also just kind of turn your brain off and just enjoy the visuals and what's going on here, because it's a very awesome action-packed film. More than excellent pacing. Yeah, I literally just talked about that. Good ending with a very cool final image. I don't want to give anything away on what the final image ends up being, but it may have implications. That's all I'm saying. Well, I mean, I'm sure it probably does. Well, I was going to say I'm sure it probably does to some degree, but not necessarily. But I will just say that final image that that the movie, 'cause it's not really on film, that the movie leaves you with is awesome. I loved it. I love that that's what they chose to do. And just the ending in general came together really well. It's very satisfying. And yeah, I just really enjoy what they did with this film. So I'm going to go ahead and say out of 5 stars, half stars, and play, this is a 4-star movie for me. I didn't expect to go into an animated Predators movie and think that it was going to be a 4-star movie for me. But it is. This is the best entry in the franchise, in my opinion, honestly. And I know a lot of people are probably going to come at me for that to varying degrees. It'll be like, oh, but the first one. Yeah, the first one started it all, and it was very important for that reason. But if you take away when all these films came out and what their importance is within the franchise and just compare them all to one another, I would say that this is probably the strongest one. At least for me it is. I don't think I'd be giving a 4-star to any of the other ones, honestly. But yeah, 4 stars for this one. Would love to hear other people's opinions on it. Go ahead and put it down in the comments. And we can talk spoilers in the comments. That's totally cool. And again, like I said, thumbs up on the video, subscribe, notification bell button. And if you want to pitch in, membership's in the link. But yeah, thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Hope if you're watching this and you haven't already watched the film, you go and check that out. It is definitely worth your time. Anyway, everyone have a great day. Keep it brutal.